Welcome back to another session of Let's Be Connected. I'm your host for today, Shaima from Near East University, and I hope you guys are all having an amazing Friday so far. We have reached the end of this week, but we have yet another beautiful session ahead of us today. Without any further ado, I'm going to introduce today's guest. Assistant Professor Dr. Boran ŞEKEROğlu, who is the head of the Department of Information Systems Engineering, as well as the Vice Chairman of the Artificial Intelligence Engineering. Dear Professor, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, Shaima.
Thank you. Thank you for having accepted our invitation. I would like to first start with this. You have honored us with accepting the invitation for today. How have you been, dear Professor?
Thank you. You?
Me too, I've been fine, thanks. With everything that has been happening so far, I hope that everything has been good on your side, working from home.
It's good, thank you very much.
Yeah. So now, according to our plan, we have some questions that we would like to ask you in order to shed more light on the departments. So if you will allow me, I will start with some questions.
Yes, sure, please.
Okay. So before going into the topic, can you please tell us about how you started working at Near East University? How did you reach Near East University, and how did you get to the position that you are in today?
Actually, my nearest adventure started as a student in 1997, when I was 17 years old. I studied in a computer engineering department. Then I continued to my education in master's and PhD degree. Then when I complete this education, I fulfilled my 1-year military service. It was a tough service, but it was finished. I'm happy for this. Then I turned back in 2009 to my university as a PhD holder in computer engineering department. Then in 2010, I qualified for assistant professorship. Then I assigned as vice chairperson in computer engineering department. Then in 2013, I appointed as vice chairperson for software engineering department and chairperson for information systems engineering department. And last year, we have founded a new department, artificial intelligence department, and I appointed as vice chairperson for this. Also, for software engineering department, we have a new chairperson, my friend, Associate Professor Dr. Salaver.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful parcours. You started from a very young age. It is very nice to hear that.
Yes.
So we see that you are representing 2 departments today. Can you maybe give us an overview of what the program covers?
Yes. Let me explain you first information systems engineering, but during this period I have to explain some details about computer engineering department and software engineering department, because these 3 departments are related to each other, like sisters, 3 sisters. And information systems engineering takes some hardware courses from computer engineering departments, same as software engineering department. But information systems engineering department focuses on the data and the information. When you use information and when you use the technologies that process this information, this is the subject of information systems engineering. And when we consider or when we look to the relation between information systems and computer engineering departments, we can see that maybe the half of the courses are common for each other, for each department. So, and more than 10 are entirely departmental courses. and but in information systems engineering department, we have more specific courses for field specific courses like management information systems, health information systems, or software testing, accounting information systems, or geographic information systems that use this information to provide new technologies for the humans, for your world, and you have to know how to use this. Then in information systems engineering, of course, you cannot manage alone these technologies. You have a team or equipment. So in this department, you are taking basic management and economics courses. Not like other engineering departments. They are taking management for engineers and economics for engineers courses. But in this department, they are taking basic courses from other faculties, administrative faculties. And then when our students graduates, they are capable to manage or construct any information system using these courses they are taking. But let me mention just a brief information about software engineering because we mentioned it in our subject. As I told you, basic hardware courses are common with computer engineering department. It's the same as software engineering department. But in software engineering, students focuses on specializing in the processes or methods in developing softwares. But this is the main problem in our country and in our region, that the graduates are software engineers, not programmers or coders. It's also useful to notice this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I believe it was a very helpful overview of the program, because in order to explain information systems engineering, you gave a comparative analysis. So I think the students will get a better insight into what to expect from information systems engineering and not be confused. For example, maybe some students, some prospective students might think that they are coming for something related to computer engineering, but then they are doing a completely different department. So it's very nice that you mentioned all of this. Thank you so much. So for the rest of the questions, given that they are related to a department in particular, is it okay if we focus on the Department of Information Systems Engineering?
Yes, sure, it's okay.
Yeah, all right. So the next question is about the assessment methods. For example, now we have a student. We are talking about those students who are already here. They are here, they are in class. What can you tell such a student to expect when it comes to the assessment methods? How do you assess them? As in, what do you use? Assignments, examinations, etc. Can you please tell us about this?
Yes, actually, these assessment methods vary from course to course. It depends on the instructor's assessment method. But when we consider a regular period, not distance education, we can say that instructors generally evaluate the student's success through homeworks, assignments, laboratory works, but generally midterm and final exams. They have more weighted averages on final assessment results. But during this period, we know that this COVID period, we make some online classes. Then, according to some rules and regulations of Council of Higher Education of Turkey, that we separate this weights equally to assignments, homeworks, projects, midterms, and finals. So we reduce the weights of examinations. So we use this assessment type to evaluate the students' success in these classes. But in regular periods, generally midterm and final exams have more weighted grading system on the final evaluation. But of course, in some courses during the regular period, they are based on projects. Your instructor gives you some assignments and some stages of projects, and you submit these stages in some specific periods. Then you can submit some reports about your project, and at the end of the semester, you submit your final project. And according to this assignments or reports and final projects, you can get your grades. But these courses are limited number of courses. Only we have two unique courses, graduation projects. In this graduation projects, we have one jury assessment, one course instructor assessment, and one supervisor assessment. Then the average of these three is taken, and the success of the student is determined by using this average final point.
Thank you so much for your answer once again, dear Professor. So we have heard about the assessment methods. It's nice that you also mentioned about now the new methods given the new situation, so students can also learn about what new methods have been applied by the department. So is there any other thing that you can tell the students when it comes to their ability to better understand the topics or better understand what is being taught? Can you give them any tips regarding that?
Actually, nowadays reaching information and this knowledgeable people is literally at your fingertips. All kind of opportunity. You have internet, and our university gives lots of possibilities to the students, library, Wi-Fi connections, internet connections, and specific places or certain places. So you can reach any kind of information, and also to your instructors via social media or by email. You can contact with them. You can ask your questions. You can expand your knowledge. So I'm not sure if the student has eagerness to learn. That's enough to learn. I think they have all kind of opportunity. Because in regular period, I'm using this word too much, regular period, because we are not in regular period now. It's unexpected period. Each instructor has 5 hours of student office hours per week. They can reach to their instructors, and they can get ideas how can they improve their knowledge about specific topics, specific subjects. So they don't have any limit to improve their knowledge in any kind of subject.
Thank you. Definitely, it's true. If the student is determined, so they will be able to do everything that is required. Thank you once more. I would like to actually mention something about our library, since you did mention about our library. I'm addressing myself to our viewers. In case we have prospective students who are thinking, how are they going to attend to the library, or how are they going to go to the library if they have online education, etc. Do not worry. Our library also has online facilities, so that library is accessible online via the website, and you have thousands of sources which are accessible online. So we do have a virtual version of our library, if I may say. So this too is not a limitation when it comes to addition to your education. So I just wanted to put this out there. Also, those of our current students who are watching us, You can just go to the university website and you will have your access to the library and use it, even if we are in an irregular period, like our professor mentioned. So I will move on with the next question, which is regarding the summer training programs. We know that the engineering faculty usually prescribe summer training programs as part of the curriculum. So can you please tell us about the Department of Information Systems Engineering? What do they prescribe, and what are the conditions for summer training?
Yes, sure. A total of 40 days of summer training is compulsory in our department also. But we divided this summer training into two parts. First part is for hardware part of our curriculum, and second part is for software part. And student can do their summer training separately, not together. After each training, it's 20 business days, of course. After each training, students should submit a report, summer training report, to internship committee, and they get grade, successful or unsuccessful. But students who have not completed their summer training cannot graduate from our department. This is the rule. But in addition to this, let me say, we support our students who have difficulties in finding some companies or institutes for internships. We try to arrange research and development units within our university or in private companies in our country.
Thank you. So related to the summer training as well, we have a lot of international students at our university. So I'm sure our international students who are currently watching us, whether perspective or those who are current students but they haven't reached the point of summer training yet, I'm sure they must be asking themselves this question: that are they able to do these summer trainings outside of Northern Cyprus? Can they do it, for example, in their own country?
Yes, sure. If the company is related with their department, and if it is training one, if it is hardware and training to the software, if their unit or company is related with their department, they can do in anywhere of the world, no problem.
All right, thank you. It was important to put this information out there because sometimes they think that they need to stay here. So it's very nice to see that the Department of Information Systems Engineering also takes into consideration summer training that is done abroad.
Yeah.
So thank you, dear Professor, once more. Now, maybe we can focus more on the students themselves. With someone with your expertise, you have seen students of all sorts and you have experienced all sorts of students. What can you tell us? What idea can you give us of a successful student in your opinion? How do you describe a successful student?
That's a good question, actually. I had hundreds of students, and many of them were students who could be considered successful ones. But if I want to answer this question, I should think about the other students. I cannot say unsuccessful, but the students who could not show the success that we expect, let me say. And their differences were not their intelligence or background, but eagerness to learn and awareness level. These 2 points are really important in engineering, because the students with a low level of eagerness and low level of awareness that they are at the engineering faculty cannot succeed in their courses, and the others made a difference. I can say this at that part.
Definitely, thank you. It was a very general reply actually when it comes to successful students. So basically it depends on the perspective as well. So it's nice to know that someone with your status, you are open to qualifying students' success based on different perspectives. So thank you once again for giving us such an incentive answer. I will move to the next question now, which is related to postgraduate studies. We have talked about, we have referred to the undergraduate program. So can you tell us about the advantages of following up with the postgraduate studies? Because of course, nowadays, when it comes to university and tertiary education, we always encourage students to go further with their studies. So that they can get more experience, etc. But from your particular perspective, what can you tell us about a student who has graduated from information systems engineering, and why should such a student continue with their postgraduate studies?
Yes. The graduate study is slightly different education than undergraduate. Yes, students take 7 courses and a seminar course by the rules of the Council of Higher Education of Turkey. But during these courses, during the semesters, all of our teachers try to improve the skills of our students and focus them on the researches. Then, after completion of these courses, students study with their supervisors 1 to 3 semesters about their thesis. And these are just research and development, implementation, or application. So if you want to specialize on a specific topic, specific subject, you have to continue to your education in master's degree or postgraduate degree. And also, if you want to continue an academic life, you should continue with MSc degree. This is another topic. But in master's degree, you will be able to make more research and more specific. You will be able to master in a specific topic. That's the difference between undergraduate and graduate education.
Thank you so much. So, of course, we have gotten the general idea. Our dear professor today is telling us, is encouraging all students to continue with their postgraduate studies. So if you want to pursue your postgraduate studies at nearest university, I'm again directing myself to our viewers, prospective students. If you want to pursue your postgraduate studies at nearest university, tune in at the end of the video. I'm going to mention about the application procedure as well as the opportunity to apply for postgraduate scholarships. So stay till the end of the video and you'll get all the information. I will move to the next question now, Professor. What can you tell us about the job opportunities when it comes to this particular department? We have talked about undergraduate studies, postgraduate studies, but what about when the student is ready to enter the working sector? What can they expect when it comes to job opportunities?
Okay, first, it should not be forgotten that graduates will have an engineering diploma, and the courses are designed to improve their analytical intelligence, and they will have ability to solve questions, problems they encounter in their branches in real life. But if I want to give specific examples for information systems engineering graduates, for example, management of information projects or process design, workflow management, or e-business systems, e-commerce systems, supply chain management systems, or communication technologies. They can find any kind of job, any type of job in this kind of systems as an engineer, or they can be a manager at this kind of jobs, and management support systems. We can increase the examples or the names for these things, because this information systems, this is the job of the future. If you look to the world, everybody uses information process, information projects, information management, information blah blah blah. So if you know how to use this information, how to know this management, you can easily find a job, any kind of company.
Thank you so much. We have seen that it's very vast. The list of opportunities is actually very long. And it's nice to know. I'm sure that all of our viewers right now and those who will watch us later, they will have they will find it very helpful to have such a list as from now, so that they can plan themselves accordingly and think about a particular job. So thank you once more for your answer. You did mention that this particular department is actually, it represents the future, and the jobs that it encompasses, it represents the future. And also, we are now living in a world that at one point of time, it was thought to be a world for the future. But here we are living actually in the future, and we are living online. We have been forced into the online world. So can you maybe tell us how was the experience for you as the head of department, and also as a lecturer? How did you manage? How did the department manage with the online lectures as well as the exams? How was the whole experience for you?
Actually, this online classes or online education, I think it was an interesting and exciting experience for both students and instructors. During this period, we cannot say, we couldn't say to students, stay at home, no education, no courses, you will just stay at home, just watch TV or play games. You have to continue to education. So you have to provide this, and but while you provide this, it should not be useless or time-consuming. It should be effective and efficient. And actually, in here, I would like to thank the unit in our university that created our system and transferred our courses to distant education in incredibly fast response. So actually, I thank to them. But when we come to online classes, we try to give our best to students. They try to get their best, and we made a lot of effort, even more effort than a regular period, because you have to digitize every kind of document to send your students. Then you spend lots of time. We did it. Students used the documents. We performed examinations, quizzes. We gave homeworks, assignments. But as an instructor, I can say that I'm happy that the students at distance equation rather than doing nothing. But it should also be noticed that we are trying to educate humans, not robots. So I wish to see my students' mimics, eyes, and also to hear their voices as analog, not digital like that. So this made me unhappy actually for distance learning. But as I told you, we gave all the course content, we do everything for the students. Also, they do their best. It was good, I think. But when you look from the perspective of students, it is still unclear because we receive positive returns as well as negative returns. But it should not be forgotten that this is the first experience. So everybody was amateur at that point. So I hope we will stay amateurs. We will not be a professional for that point. But this was the first one, and so. When we look to our department, we always in touch with our instructors and with our students. Everybody tried to do their best, and most of them held some exams, midterm and final exams. Let me talk about my courses on distance learning system. I prepared 2 midterm and 4 final exams, and in my 5 courses. And these exams consisted of multiple choice, true, false, matching questions, or classical questions, or short answer questions. This kind of questions. Our system provides us several options, different options. It's shuffle the questions. The students cannot see the same question at the same time. So for the security of the exam. So how we perform this exam, because you cannot see the student, you are not in the class. Everybody joined in a Google Meet. It was a live session. Then they turned on their microphone, they turned on their camera, then they solved their questions, their exam at the same time, in a given time. Then they learned their results at the end of the examination period. That's the thing that we have done in online period.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, you have touched upon all the perspectives from the lecturers, from the students as well. It's actually true what you said. We do need this usual touch, a human touch.
Yes.
But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we are forced to stay away from each other because we need social distancing anyways for the time being. But we hope that the situation will get better as soon as possible. And I do want to add to your comment that you thanked the technical teams. It's true, the technical team as well as the IT teams at University, they have done an amazing job and are still doing amazing jobs to bring everything online and to carry everything online. It's true, it was the first for us, but we are working on it. And also, as you mentioned, some students have mentioned about the negative points that they experienced, but I'm sure that notes have been taken, and these things will be fixed as soon as possible so that they don't repeat themselves. So we can only move forward from here. Thank you once more for your very encouraging words, and also you told us that even online we have the invigilation of examination done in the same way as in a classroom. So it's still nice to see that we have adapted. The Department of Information Systems Engineering has adapted to the situation very beautifully. Thank you once more. I will now jump to the next topic, which is also related, mainly because we have a lot of international students, as I mentioned before. With students who come from abroad, they have a big question regarding the accreditation. So can you tell us, can you actually tell the students about the accreditation of the diploma and also of this program when it comes to maybe thinking about using our diploma from this department abroad when they will look for work or whatever they want to do after moving from here?
Yes. Let me briefly explain how the procedure works in our country if you want to open a new department. First, you prepare your file, your application, you send it to Ministry of Education. If it approves it, you will get feedback. Then you apply it for your Higher Education Council, for TRNC. It's YEDAC in our language. And if it is suitable, then you get your accreditation. And now you can accept students in your program. The next stage is application for Council of Higher Education in Turkey. It's YÖK in Turkey. Then when you get accreditation from this council, you can use your diploma in everywhere on the earth. It's no problem. And our department, Information Systems Engineering Department, all programs, both undergraduate and graduate programs, have this accreditation. So also, in addition, not forget this, in 2018, Nigerian committee from Ministry of Education came for accreditation for engineering faculty, and we get another accreditation from Nigerian Council. And we are continuing to get accreditations. We are working on this because if you have a quality, it's better to show this or to prove this with this accreditations. And we are continuing this. But we will get more and more. But you can use our diploma in everywhere of the world. It's no problem about accreditation.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having shed light on this. It's true. When we have our capabilities, why not expand it? And it is actually the mission of New Age University. We are targeting further and further, and we hope that students from all over the world are going to keep on joining us. Like I mentioned, we already have a huge percentage of international students who prefer our university when it comes to Northern Cyprus. So we have unfortunately reached towards the end of today's session, but before leaving, can you please give us some pieces of advice or give students pieces of advice, especially those prospective students who are watching us and maybe they are leaning towards the Department of Information Systems Engineering?
Yes, as I just mentioned, they must have an eagerness to learn first, and then they must be aware that their education will be at the Faculty of Engineering. If they have this, there will be no problem. For other suggestions, I suggest to accept spending long hours in front of computers, because they will use their computers too much, and they will assume that their computers are one of their best friends. And just the last suggestion, and during their education and in their life, they have to take backups for their information frequently.
Thank you so much. It's true that about the backup, so we don't want anything to go sideways. Thank you so much, dear Professor, for your wonderful pieces of advice, and it was a very great opportunity for me to have hosted you. Thank you once more for having accepted our invitation, and we hope to host you soon again. And until then, I wish you good luck with everything that you have on your agenda, and good luck with the summer semester, which is almost here. So good luck with everything, dear Professor. Until next time, take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. See you.
See you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was today's guest from the Department of Information Systems Engineering, the head of Department of Information Systems Engineering, and the vice chairman of the Artificial Intelligence Engineering Department. So we have once more reached the end of today's session, as well as the end of the week. I will invite you guys to tune in for next week's program. It's going to be posted on our social media, Instagram and Facebook as usual. Don't forget to check our pages. And I would like to also mention about the postgraduate scholarship application period, which is currently open. You guys can just send an email for your applications onto the email address that is going to pop up on the screen right now, info@neu.edu.tr, info@neu.edu.tr. And we have scholarship opportunities for postgraduate programs, which starts as from 25% and goes up to 100%. So do try your luck. And also for any application for all programs, you can use the same email address, info@neu.edu.tr. Just send an email to this particular address, and the officer in charge is going to assist you accordingly. So we have reached the end of the program for this week. I will see you guys next week, and tune in for our next guests. Until then, have a nice weekend, and don't forget, let's be connected.